here's a little picture of what we're painting today. It's a beautiful little scene from the state of Oregon. And I'll say hello to you right now and let you know I'm really here. It's not a pre-recorded message. And I wanted to take you through very briefly what we're going to paint and give you a little idea. Okay, there's the scene. And I'll be going over to my painting board here in just a second, but I want to give you a little idea about this painting. So it's a beautiful scene in a nice hiking area in Oregon. We were there in 2010, and around Salem, Oregon, there's a park. I think it's called Silver Stream Park or Silver Falls Park, I believe it is. But they have, I don't know, maybe a dozen waterfalls, and they have a hiking trail that you can walk around in and between and around these waterfalls, under the waterfalls. And so I went back and looked at my albums and saw that I had some of these nice photographs. I thought this was a particularly interesting one for our class today. So this is what we're going to paint. I actually have it gridded out here in a 4x5 matrix, and that typically is what I do for a 11x14 canvas painting. And so each of these squares are about 2 3/4 inches in square. So if you have a device or have a way of measuring off the canvas, you can mark yourself vertical and horizontal lines, and you can get that sketch going. I also have a value map that kind of helps me think about the values, and light values, mid values, dark values, mid light values, and that will kind of guide the composition a little bit. I just do that to sort of get rid of all the detail, so you can basically have the see enough detail, or get rid of the detail, so you don't end up being confused by it. So I want to show you that, and one more is actually, here's the actual sketch. I will have this on my website after the class. You'll be able to download it if you need to do that, but I will leave that up for a few seconds here and let you see if you can maybe get a little sketching done. I want to say that we're going to be painting on 11x14 canvas, which I mentioned. We're going to be using the little set of Bob Ross paints that I typically use for most of my classes. And we're going to be using a set of brushes. Some of them are Bob Ross brushes, and some of them are Treacle brushes. So I will be using those interchangeably. I will try to let you know what brush I'm using, and I will overlay the palette on my screen so that you can actually see the colors that I'm using as well. So with that said, I think I want to check a couple of things here with my audio. I'm a one-man show here, folks. We'll go for maybe 2.5 hours, maybe 3 at the most. Probably about an hour into the painting, hour and 15 minutes. We will take just a short break so I can get a drink of water and stretch my muscles a little bit, because standing in front is a bit of a challenge, as you may realize. So let me flip over now to the sketch that's on my easel, and we will get going with that. And you can see I have some blue tape on there, and that's basically the this is the way I put my sketches on the canvas. Basically, I put them on tracing paper first, so I use a real thin tracing paper to sort of work out the sketch and get it going, and then I overlay that over some transfer paper. It's called Saral, S-A-R-A-L. It's a white transfer paper, and I put that on, and when I go over the sketch then on top of the canvas, it leaves a white sketch, as you can see here. So I paint on gray canvas, gray gesso, and when I get ready to paint, I just sort of take this off and leave it for another painting another time. And that's really what I need to do. I'm not going to take the time to sketch it for you. As you can imagine, it takes a little while to do this, but it's not too onerous. But I want to show you here the canvas up close. I'm going to try to keep it in focus here so that I don't lose the top or the bottom, and it's just about aligned. So okay, if you have any specific questions, please put them in capital letters. I have a computer over here by my easel, and I have it logged into the same account, and I can actually see the questions if you leave them for me. And if you have any other technical difficulties, or like if you lose sound or something like that, put a message on there. We do have about a 30-second delay from the time I say these words to you to the time they get to your computer, because YouTube takes some time to translate and configure and transmit back out the messages in the format that your computer needs. Let's see if I can get this thing just a little more lined. I think it's slightly off. Bear with me. I don't have a cameraman. I am the cameraman. It drives me nuts when things aren't aligned. So let's get it, hopefully, aligned. That looks a little better. Now let's get it centered up. Okay, I think we are ready. Yes. All right. Okay, so for the brushes, the other thing I should mention to you, I guess, is that I do use a little bit of liquid white, and I usually put it on a paper plate like this. I also have some liquid from Winsor Newton, and it's sort of a medium as well. The liquid white helps the paint dry slower, and the liquid sort of helps the paint dry a little bit faster. So sometimes I'll use the liquid, and sometimes I use the Bob Ross liquid white. So in this painting, I'm going to start out by putting in some darks. I want to make sure I know where my darks are, so I don't get confused here. So let's just take a little bit of my Midnight Black. I'm using a number 12 Treacle brush. In here, let's see, make sure I got these areas that are sort of, these areas are actually under rocks, and so they're very, very dark. But this area here is going to be very dark. Got some more areas over here that are, what these are, this is a hiking path that actually goes in and behind this waterfall. So it makes a very interesting set of, I'm sorry, that's too high for the hiking path. I think the hiking path is right here. This is the hiking path inside here. Right in here there's a path that goes underneath this waterfall. And I'm just putting this in so I can stay oriented, so I don't end up with having the path in the wrong place, or the rocks in the wrong place. So it's just sort of a little dark area there that helps me stay oriented as to where the path in this painting is. And this is a hiking trail. The waterfall comes over it. You can actually go back there and walk around behind it. It's really a neat place. And this is one of many waterfalls in this area around Salem, Oregon, that I really liked when we were there, and I thought I would try to bring it to you. There's some more darks up here. I'm just going to put a few more in, sort of help keep that going. Right here we've got this water is almost a black. It's got some green in it, but I'm going to just sort of make sure I keep that water area highlighted there and marked off so I know where the water's going to go. Got some big trees that come on both sides, and this will sort of help me keep track of where we are here. Just midnight black, throwing in some midnight black. I think I'm going to put a little bit of this liquid in it to sort of thin it out a little bit and let it dry off a little bit. I'm going to get a nice little dark base behind here. A little bit of liquid. You don't have to use liquid. You can use linseed oil, or you can use other types of mediums that sort of speed up the drying process of the paint, so that when I come back to this area, it's going to be close to being dry. When I get ready to put another glaze of the water on there. I'll make it go over in between these two trees. There's two trees here that I want to sort of separate, and the actual water goes on back here even further. And it comes down even in this area here. There's a little rock formation that sticks out here. I'll try to see if I can capture that little rock formation. And over there. Okay, so this is the pool that's formed by this waterfall. Okay. All right, folks. Glad you're with me today, and I hope you can ask me some questions. And Mark is asking, how do we join the something? I can't read the rest of it there. Oh, here, I'll move my... How do we join the class? Well, you are in the class right now, and this is the class. I was setting it up to try to have people pay some money to join this class, but it's almost too difficult to try to manage that and control it. I think I'm just going to have to back away from that idea and just put these up here for you for free and let you take a look at them. And if you like them, just keep watching my class. You can subscribe to my channel, and I put regular paintings out on my channel, both watercolor and oil. Regularly, every month, I put one or more paintings out. This particular video will be uploaded after. I'll probably do a little editing of it and then upload it afterwards and put it out on YouTube for everybody to watch. But that's what I wanted to start with there. Okay, let me go back. I'm going to clean out this brush. Start getting some. Start going back now into the background. I'm going to come back here and start putting in some of the areas back here that that I want to be. The sky is in this area back here. I'm going to get some liquid white and just sort of lay it in back here in some areas. And we'll come back and put another color over that to sort of tone it down. The sky is sort of an off-white gray, actually, but I'm going to make it a little bit, put a little bit of this violet in it, pick up just a little violet and some white, and that'll give us atmospheric perspective. It's not quite the color I want, but a little darker. A little white, a little bit of ultraviolet. I didn't go over the color palette with you. I could do that, and actually I just realized I don't even have the color palette showing. Sorry about that, folks. There you go. Let's put it right there. Okay. I will go over the paints here very quickly now that I got the palette showing. Actually, I'm going to make the palette bigger for you so you can actually see it better. Right there. Colors are titanium white, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, midnight black, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna, alizarin crimson, sap green, cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and bright red. I have an ultramarine violet over here that I'm using from Grumbacher as my some of the background. So let me make that little thing smaller. There we go. All right. So you can see the paints I'm picking up. I've told you to brush, and we'll keep going here. So I have this corner of my painting covered with that palette. I have to remember that when I start painting in this area, I have to move the palette. This is a piece of technology I have here that lets me sort of do real-time video production and editing on the fly. So it lets me have multiple camera inputs, so I can have one camera on my palette and one camera on my canvas, and have controls to move them around, and it makes it like my own little TV studio here, which is kind of fun, but it's also a bit challenging because I have to do right brain artistic work, and then I have to come back and do left brain TV production thinking, and it's a bit challenging, but I kind of like doing it. It's makes the painting even more complicated than just sort of getting paint on canvas. All right, take a look at that. Stop and see what it looks like from a distance. The reason for this color, instead of using a bright blue or something like that, is to sort of give ourselves some distance in this painting. This anything a little blue or violet looking gives you a bit of atmospheric perspective, atmospheric depth. Put a few clouds in here. They're not going to be seen. I'm probably going to paint over almost all of them, but I want to have some indication that there's something going on in the sky. Adding a little midnight black here in some spots, some areas. Okay. Over here, I want to make sure the canvas is covered. I don't want to leave sections of the canvas that don't have some basic coloring of paint on them. Okay. This is a flat brush. It's just a number 12 flat. Treckle makes some very fine brushes. They're not the cheapest brushes in the world, but they're synthetic mongoose, I believe, is what they are. And they give you some very nice effects here. Okay. Like I said, this is probably going to be covered up. You won't be able to see it, but I want to get it in there. At least have enough of the canvas covered that whatever I put over it is going to be have some background behind it, other than the gray canvas, the gray gesso. Okay. Thinking that might do for the sky. All right. Next step. Hello, Ed. I see you signed on. Thank you. Hi, Scarpy. Thanks for signing on. Have any questions? Please throw them in here, and I'll see if I can answer them. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as we go here. Okay, so the background now comes down to, well, this background comes down to the top of these, the rocks here. This is sort of the top of this cliff where this waterfall is running over. Just drawing a few spots in here like this. Give myself some idea where the cliff is. Oops, let's see here.
something like that. It comes over like this and goes up. Okay, so actually if I were to paint in a person in this painting, this is so huge that a person would be very small, probably less than half the width of this brush would be the height of a person in this painting because it's so far and it's such a tall waterfall. Okay, now let's start seeing if we can put in some of these trees. I'm going to start picking up some of my sap green, a little bit of my dark sienna, a little bit of alizarin. Try to get some colors that I want for this background for these trees. The trees are really look green, but I'm going to not totally make them green. I'm going to start to put in some interesting shapes here. There's a lot of trees. This is a lot of woods back here. I got some bushes that come up this way, but I'm going to just put in a few. And if I sort of mix up the colors back here, I can start getting some different shapes that sort of show green, show a little bit of red, leave some holes for the sky. They come down about here, so I'm going to just sort of pull that up. I'll start picking up some more of this green and yellow here to give me a little bit more of some green color in there. Tons of trees back here. And I have a little roll of paint on this brush, and when I touch it like this, like you saw that, it leaves little dark spots that look like leaves hanging. This is in the distance, so I don't want to have a lot of definition back here. Okay, come back and pick up some more of this red and put in a few other colors. I think I'm going to pick up a little of this violet, see if I can get a little more blue in some of these areas. Doesn't seem like that's getting blue in there, but let's put in a few more. Ochre and green. Let's see if I can change the color here. Put some ochres in over here. This starts getting a lot more yellow and ochre over here even. Okay. Take a look, step back. Just want that to be a little bluer back there for some reason. I feel like that's got to be a different color. I'm going to pick up just a very small amount of this phthalo blue. See if I can put a little back in here. Change the color of that green. Get some distance over here. Okay, back to some browns, reds. And we start getting more of these ochres and brighter yellows over here in this area. These trees are a little bit closer, so I'll be actually showing that in a minute. Okay, how are we doing here? How about some more darker colors in here maybe? We have some bushes. I'm going to put in a few more bushes in this area right here to sort of separate, give a little more distance and depth. Over here I'm going to have to stop and get back to see if it looks about right. Certainly some different colors than are in that actual painting, but I'm not trying to copy colors as much as I'm trying to get the landscape to look right. A lot of tree okay. Get some of this darker color out of this brush and see if I can pick up a little bit lighter colors here. Still using this 1/2 inch flat, haven't changed. I'll come back with a little of this cad yellow. See if I can start laying in a few brighter colors in here in some areas. It's probably too bright right now, but maybe it'll look okay later. See if I can get a little bit of the some highlight color in here with some white and yeah, I'm picking up a few bright colors. There is some little bright leaves and stuff back there. Some more over here. I'm going to leave that for a little bit later, but right now I want to just sort of see if I can find that color, which I think I did. Okay, there. Got some in here. Okay, that'll do for now. I don't want to make that real detailed, real obvious. Okay, all right, now I want to put in some little bit darker colors in the bottom of these trees down here. There's some, I'm using this sort of this purple, so I'm going to sort of tie this together with some leaves and branches that are sort of in the shade. So that this purple is sort of a nice complementary color to the yellow that's on there. And we'll put some in here. Go back and get a little bit more. So when I get done, when I finish this painting, I will have the sketch out on my website. You can go out and download it if you want to give this a try. The painting, the video will be on YouTube. It'll go silent until I get it edited. I'll bring it in and I'm going to do some editing to it before I upload a final version. So it'll take me a day or so to do that. So after the broadcast is over, you will not be able to see this video for about 2 days because I'm going to do some editing. And then I'll load it back out there and you can then take a look at it, and if you want to paint it, you can try it then. Okay, I got enough little fuzziness. You see, by just using this brush and pulling up, I get some very nice, soft, fuzzy areas back there. And these are almost too bright, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I don't want it to stand out too much. I want to just dull those down a little bit. probably don't look as bright to you on what you're looking at as they do to me here, but I just want to leave it like that and see if it, take a look at it. Sometimes I come back and look at these things later and I want to adjust them and do some other things with them, but right now I'm going to stick with that. All right, I'm going to put in a few bushes with using some my yellow ochre and a little bit of my Prussian blue. I'm going to get a certain color green. The thing about the greens, you can mix all these greens. I have sap green, but if I use one of my blues, my Prussian blue or my phthalo blue or even this ultramarine violet with different yellows, you can get different colors of green. This midnight black and ochre make a beautiful olive color. So if you're looking for an olive color, I'm trying to put some bushes in front of this. You'll notice that the value is very, very close. If I want you to see it, you know what I have to do. I have to make it a little bit darker, slightly darker. So I'm making another layer here and just picking up these violets, ochre, yellow, and throwing in some interesting bushes here that help you see there's another layer of shrubbery, bushes, something back here. These are kind of growing on top of the mountain here, or on top of the side of the cliff as it comes over, and then it's sort of rock underneath there. So we'll make that look like rock here in a minute, but I want to sort of get this try to pick up some colors to change it from light to dark to dark to light. Now you notice my brush strokes are going straight down. When you see any stroke there, you're going to see vertical. I'm actually leaving areas here so I can paint in a big branch and some leaves on this tree. So I'm actually negative painting. You've heard me talk about negative painting probably if you've watched me before. I'm painting around a tree over here and a tree trunk. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this brown in here between the tree trunk, and on the other side I have a little more. Okay. So, how's it looking? Let me see here. Okay. Under here, we're going to put a little more of this bank, or a little, not the bank, but the cliff. And I'm going to make it pop out on the other side of this tree over here. Okay. Having some fun here. Down this side, I want to pull in a little brightness. I don't wash my brushes very often. You may have noticed. I tend to combine them and make sort of mix the color on the paint, if you will, or on the canvas rather. Mix the paint on the canvas. And this gets darker as it goes back in there because it's going back into this shadow area. Very dark. Come back and lighten it up here. Okay. Another tree I'm going to paint around here. Trees on the left side. Paint around some bushes. Okay. And get some darker. This thing comes all the way down to somewhere. I guess it comes down to there. Yeah, okay. I don't have to make this perfectly match the photograph, but I'm trying to get the major objects in the right place. A lot of spots here, a lot of places that need to be filled in. This, between the trees, I'm going to keep going here with, go between these trees here, see if I can sort of keep this, make sure I know where the tree is and where the cliff is. Cliff is back there. This tree, I'm going to have to change its color. The tree is a little bit like the mountains in the back, or the cliffs in the back. I'm going to lighten it up and probably make it more of a gray, so I can make it stand out. There's There's a tree. Okay, those two trees run together. This little gap in here. Okay. Excuse me. Make a branch out there. Here's another dark area. Darker back here. Put a little red in there. Somebody asked if I use linseed oil or terps to thin the paints. I really don't use a lot to thin these paints. They're pretty runny, as you can see. I have them on my glass here that it's actually vertical, which is causing them to run, and they have a lot of oil in them, so they don't tend to need a lot of extra solvent or mediums or whatever to thin it with. I do use the liquid white, and I use that as much as anything to get the paint flowing, you know, to sort of get it moving, if you will. Close this in. If I want to put a branch over there, I'll put another branch over it. Okay. All right, this is coming down here. I got between the trees. I got another little tree there. I'm going to try to see if I can save room for a little tree there. One thing about oil is you can always put a tree back over it. You don't have to necessarily save areas like you do when you paint watercolors. When you do watercolors, you have to think about painting negatively a lot because of the fact that once you put paint on paper with watercolor, it's there and you can't remove it very well. So you have to think about painting negatively a lot more in watercolor than you do oils. I think I just do it because it helps me see things, remember where I put things, so I don't end up with things in the wrong place. Or missing something or whatever. So, okay, I just lost my microphone cover. All right, I want to go back and do some more work on top of this, in this cliff area here. I think I'm gonna get my filbert out. Another treacle brush, but it's a filbert. The filbert has sort of the rounded tip on it like this. So I'm going to pick up some whites and some of this yellow over here and some greens. See if I can put a few nice light bushes in back here. Run them down the cliff here, darken it down at the bottom a little bit. Back up a little. they tend to fall over the edge of this cliff a little bit anyway. Back here, a little bit darker colors, pick up some shadows, put in there. If you can get 3 values in an object like this bush, if you can get a highlight, a mid value, and a dark, you will help make it look very rounded, or make it look three-dimensional, which is what you have to try to do when you're painting on two-dimensional paper like this. So it's to fool the eye, you have to do that. These are going to be some leaves and some things hanging down over. Over here, I think I want to pick up some more of this lighter color over this area and see if I can put in a few more, maybe another little layer of bushes or something over here, sort of tie it together. And kind of use that for a highlight in this painting. Okay, stop, step back, look at it. I see an area that's got a little gray canvas back here. I'm going to put in fill that in a little bit so that it's not perfectly gray. Throw in a few more vertical brush strokes here by just letting you see more and more little tree branches. The darker ones push the lighter ones, tend to come forward, but when you mix them up like this, they sort of give you some interesting depth perception. Okay, we're doing good here in terms of time. I need to grab a swig of water. Hold on. My new studio, for some reason, is very hot, but I have a lot of lights on here. And the lights, even though they're mostly LED, they still put out some amount of heat. And keeps me warm. Okay, now this part of this cliff right here, I'm going to try to see if I can get some more darks in there to sort of see if I can show you the roundedness of that. And it's sort of sticks out. It's got an area for people to walk under here, so it sort of is dark at the bottom and sort of gets lighter as it rounds up. Hope that's looking like the way I want it to. There's a tree that goes in here, but I'm going to just sort of put the background behind it. Multiple colors, mix up the colors, darks, lights. Yeah, so the walking path is really here at the bottom where I'm painting right in this area. This walking path is here. And I'm going to keep working over here to see if I can, I want to put this filbert's good for making rounded treetops, but it's not great for making square rocks. So I have to work a little bit at it. Lighten it up, put in some lighter colors here. Okay. This is trees. I'm going to starting to see more gray in some of these rocks back there now. I'm going to pick up some white and midnight black and sort of see if I can add a little bit of gray in here. Black back in for the path. Okay. Below that path is a sort of a green bed of, actually it still comes down, even falling down into the little pool here. All right, getting a lot done on that middle ground. I'm going to put all of this over here just to sort of color this in. I don't want to have raw canvas sitting back there. Okay, it's going to be bright there. It's going to be green all through here, all the way down to the water's edge. Rock there and some more green. Okay, let's see. Okay. Still feel like I need more lavender up here, more violet or whatever you call it, ultramarine violet. Some of these areas. Got too much brown up there. I want that to be more abstract, less distinct. If I want any details, I want the details to be down here. I don't want them to be up there at the top. I kind of got carried away painting that. When you're painting something, you see it in the photograph and you want to sort of emulate that photograph a little bit, but if you do it too much, you make it too distinct, you lose the perspective, atmospheric perspective that you need to give this painting's depth. All right, I think that might look a little better than it did before. Hopefully you do too. Okay, can always use our little knife here to scrape out some few trees. There are some white trunk trees back in here. I'm going to going to do too much of this, but if you want to make some trees through a dark color like that, use a little plastic palette knife, or use the big old Bob Ross palette knife. He would always take it and flick in some trees in his backgrounds. I think I'm going to leave that part of the background alone. A little area that might be a little too dark right there. I'll leave some of those little highlights in there. I just don't want to get too many in there. Okay, now over here, that's probably a little too bright as well. All right, let's see if I can come back now and start working on this tree. These trees, I got a bunch of trees on the sides. I'm going to start painting those down and see if we can get those in. I could use a palette knife, but I think I'm going to use the brush. And I said they're going to have to be a different color than brown, so I'm going to start picking some of my midnight black and white. Give myself a sort of a purplish gray here. So this is really different than the photograph, but we're going to see if we can just pop it in here. Can't see it. This tree here. I'm cleaning my brush off after I make one stroke. Cleaning the paint out, cleaning the brush, because it picks up the paint that's under there. Let's see, the sun's coming from the right, so I'm going to try to make a little bit of a darker edge back here. See if that helps. Sure that's helping all that much. Tree here, one there. So it comes down and pick up some of this. I'll make the top darker. Make the part that goes by the cliffs back there, I'll make it lighter. Sort of a gray. And then I'll make these two trees sort of run together. But I'm going to do that. That's going to help tell you a little bit about that tree. And we'll put a little more texture on there in a minute, but that's might have been better to make the rocks, that cliff back there a little bit darker and the trees lighter. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I got trees in there, isn't it? Well, this is an exercise in contrast when you don't have two things that are the same value. You can't see one because of the values mixed together. So I could always make those rocks darker in the back or even continue to lighten the trees up a little bit, but I think I'm going to see what I can do with this palette knife now since I've talked about it. If you remember, Bob Ross would always take his palette knife and get a roll of paint on there and always make these motions go this way. So I'll see what I can do here to sort of help divide. I'm having trouble in my hand. It's cramping up for some reason. Sorry about that, folks. See here, like this maybe. Now I'm losing my microphone. Boy, I'm having troubles today, folks. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to fix my microphone. I hope it's not too noisy. Technical glitch. Okay, I think I'm back. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Okay, that starts giving that tree a little texture. Let's see here. Here, this way. Now, what's it look like? Ah, you're starting to see the trees. Starting to see the trees. Okay. Now I want to try some see if I can get some of this sort of a light, almost orange, a little bit of orange in it. From the right hand side of these trees, there's a interesting reflection. These trees have an orange cast to them. So by pulling that back over, I'm able to sort of give myself a two-tone tree there. I haven't used my palette knife for quite a while, so I'm unused to it. But we'll put some in here like this. I want to pick up a little more of the highlight color. So changing the highlight color now is helping to pull that tree out from that cliff behind it. Okay, take a little bit darker color maybe slightly of this tree. So I got more work. Oh, you know what's happening. I'm sorry, folks. I just realized. There's my left brain, right brain getting mixed up. Sort of kept you away from this. Now, what you don't know is I have another camera sitting right over here that's actually recording this as well. So when I put this on YouTube as a final painting, I will take the video off of that other camera and overlay this with it so that you will be able to see what I just kept you from seeing inadvertently. I need to pay attention to that a little more, but a lot of things going on here. Try this here. Oh, there we go. We'll get some more separation here. There we go. So the darks and the lights help give this separation of these trees, so you can actually see there's really 3 trees here. And oops, got some white on there. Didn't mean to get that white on there. Come back and put purple on there. Mixture of colors, mixture of darks, lights, warms and cools. Okay, so I put a little bit of that purple on the bottom to sort of give it a, I don't know, the bottom of these trees usually get more mossy and more going on. Okay, I think this one here needs a little bit of attention right here. Okay, now, can we see 3 trees? Oh, yes. All right. That worked, I guess. All right, now over here I got 2 more trees that are almost the same color and have the same problem here. So I'm going to remember to move back my palette camera to a different corner. And you should be able to see now. Actually, I got to put this on from the left to the right. I'm going to have to step in front here. you know what? I'm going to leave that for a little bit. I'm going to come back and put some, fine tune that after a bit with a palette knife. I'm going to come back and put that tree in with the brush right now. See if I can make it stand out. At least from here up. It's about where I want it, right there. Okay. That tree has a branch going off this way. Like that. And a tree next to it. Okay, so those are going to be a different color. Really are two trees, not one. And they have a few branches sticking out. There's another branch comes out like this. It has some leaves on it. Okay, now I've got a lot of green. There's a whole band of green in here. That's the growth that's growing on the rock that's below this pathway. There's a path and there's a big drop off here, and it's has considerable growth on it. So I don't know if I can make that look right or not. Let's see here. I'm going to put this up there like that first of all. Come back and put some green over it. Too much brown in there, but we can fix that. Taking some sap green with just a little bit of Prussian blue in it. And I'm just sort of pulling down over that brown that I put on there as sort of an undercoating, if you will. Hopefully those brush strokes are going to make you believe that grass and weeds growing over some rock. Okay. Back up, take a look. I'm painting a waterfall, but I haven't painted the waterfall yet. But I've painted around it. Now you can see what negative painting is all about here. Little path back here that continues. To look like this is another opening here that gets very dark. So the idea is that it curves under again up to the path, and then it curves above the path. Trying to make it show that. But this all has just painted over my dark area there. I didn't mean to do that. But it we'll put a little more grassiness on there, some Prussian blue and sap green. Tad of alizarin will gray it down just a little. I'm starting to get over underneath my palette again. Pop that thing over there. Might work. Okay. Some of this has to have here. This starts lightening up back in here with some cad yellow. Starts really getting bright. All right, I think we've been going here about an hour and 15 minutes. I think I want to take a short break. If I can get a little graphic up for you here, I will there we go. Let's see. Daylight time. And we'll start again. Anyway, this is the image. It's a beautiful waterfall in Oregon. And it's in a park that's just filled with waterfalls, many that you can walk under and behind. This is one such waterfall. You can actually walk behind the
waterfall back there, that dark area, is a walking path. And so I've taken that hike. Some of these falls you have to hike a couple miles to see them, but they're really pretty nice. If you get a chance to go to near Salem, Oregon, there's a park, and have these waterfalls. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, let me see here. I think I'm going to flip over now to my other picture and get ready to go. Okay, so I started working on these trees on the right, and so I started putting in this lower area below the path, and I think I want to come back and see if I can sort of finish that up a little bit, do a little more over here, and then come back and put a little more fine tuning on these trees. We can use the knife again to sort of fine tune that. So I'm going to go back and pick up my, I want to make sure where my, let's see, let me put this up there. I think that's a good place for the palette. It's upper left corner. I just have to remember to, I can't be painting in the upper left corner where you won't see me. You won't see the palette anyway, which I like to let you see the palette, because it's always one of the questions everybody asks me. What colors are you using, or what, how did you mix that color? Sometimes I don't even know. I just reach for a color and I pull it and stick it on the canvas and then see what happens, and then sometimes I adjust, add another color, and it's really sort of an organic type of thing here that's hard to define a little bit, but at least if you can see the palette, you can see what I'm doing, and when you see the video later, you can stop the video and look and see what colors I'm picking up, how I'm making these colors. Just want to finish this in over here, get around this tree. This is all grassy background. I'm going to put some white flowering like tree branches over this, or flowering. It's almost like this particular photo, it was sort of like a flowering crab tree or something like that. Actually, I just realized I'm painting over part of my water back there that I didn't want to paint over. The water is supposed to come around here. Actually, well, didn't mean to do that. I don't know if I can blot some of that out of there or not. Get busy talking and I forget what I'm doing. It's one of the dangers of trying to paint and talk. Sometimes I'm better at painting than I am talking, and other times I'm better at talking than I am painting. Let me see here. I don't know if I'll be able to fix this or not. Let's see if we can. Actually, you know what? It's too light. Way too light. I'm going to have to come back and restate these trees, maybe, if I'm not careful. There's always a chance you make mistakes and have to come back and fix them, so if you see me make mistakes, maybe you will have a better chance of fixing yours. There's a rock of some kind down there.
All right. So this area up here around this tree, I've got a lot of interesting limbs and bushes. It's almost calls for that stippling thing that Bob Ross does. I don't know if you remember ever watching him, but he takes a big old brush and gets the end of it all filled with a paint like this, and then he comes up here and he just starts something like that. It's sort of bright and pound it in there and then get away from it. Don't keep going back. Okay. I want to put a few more. Actually, this one area I left for this right here. Right there. Put a little green, pick up a few greens in there to sort of darken it down. Put a little color in there like this. The more you go in there, the more you mess it up. So you got to just kind of hit it and leave it alone. If you don't like it, that's too bad. Once it's done, it's done. You can't really go back and do a lot more with it. I can come back in there and put some fine branches. But once you stipple, you're pretty well done with it. There we go, a little too much. All right, one more little spot up here maybe. Hang out like that. So I have, if I look at a perimeter, I have this interesting abstract shape. That's what you want to create. If I just made that thing round or oval, it would look goofy, it would look unprofessional, and trying to be as professional looking as possible here. Same thing's happening over here. Since I got this old brush out, I might as well hit some of those areas. That's got the, I just happen to remember I've got my palette in there. Let's move it over and see if I can come back and get some similar colors here. Something like that. The harder you pound it, the more comes off the brush. And darker colors, pick up some green and some darker blue. I'll put in some okay, something like that. Now I can come in and clean it up a little bit with my fine rigger script liner, but I wanted to, haven't tried that for a long time. That's been a, let that go for too long without actually trying that. Okay, so let me go back here now and get into this area and see if I got this enough dark enough in here for this little area behind this waterfall. Okay, that's the walk path and the dark areas back there that sort of lay behind these trees. How about, let's get this really thin brush, put in some branches in here. The technique is to get a really fine script liner brush. It's got fine point on it. Doesn't have to be Bob Ross, but it's just got to be a real fine point. Dip it in your odorless thinner. Get yourself a nice runny configuration of paint here, and then come back and start putting in some things that look like tree branches in and out of this. You don't want to show them coming in, coming out. You don't want to just lay them on top. If you lay them on top, it looks amateurish. Come out up there on top like this, or thinner. If the paint won't stick, it means the paint that's on your brush is too thick. So thin it down with some sort of thinner. You can use your odorless thinner, you can use some linseed oil, whatever you have to get a really runny consistency on this thing. And then just sort of pop in some tree branches like this. This one's sort of dark, goes down and connects. This one connects. I want to put a few more on the other side over here. Okay, that's close. Similar thing over here. I want to put in get some thin paint. Need it darker, maybe. Pick up some black. Okay. Come back and hit that in a little bit. I'm going to put some more grasses and flowers and things in the bottom here. All right, we'll let that set for now. May come back and hit a few more. I don't know. Step back and see what it looks like in a minute. I'm going to pick up this liquid, just sort of give myself a soft base to work on. This will make the paint run as well, but it also makes it dry faster. A bit of liquid in here, liquid in there. Okay, now come back and just get some of this green, get some alizarin and sap green and Prussian blue. Really dark color. You can lighten it up with some white if you want, but it gives you an interesting color. Let me see here on the front of this. Just put in a layer of grassy stuff here. Really doing it fast. However, I think I'm just causing you some problems here. There. Hello, Witzel. Thanks for signing on. Glad you liked the painting. We've been going on this for about an hour and a half, maybe. I'm in the process of rigging it right now. Okay. A lot of see if I can start picking up some other colors here to give me some more bushes and some it over here and just kind of run it off the canvas. Don't need a lot. I don't want to have a lot of description over here. Just sort of want to sort of abstract and darken it up a little bit here, some areas. All right, now let's see here, just vertical stroke. You want to make water look like it's standing still. Stay away from that tree. Mix a little white, a little bit of ultramarine violet. Dark shadow back there, trying to make a little bit of a shadow reflection, that type of thing. Okay, something like that. Now, I still have not painted in that waterfall, folks, but you can see that waterfall. You can even see a reflection. That's just gray there. So, let me see here. I got to finish up these trees over here and put in a waterfall, and then just do a few fine details. Maybe put in a little bit more stuff in the foreground here. We can put in some bushes, maybe some. Give it some texture of some kind here. pushing up. Over here, I'm going to close this little corner in a little with some things like this. Okay, I'm going to put a few trees in there and put some more highlights, but I think I'm going to go try to see if I can pull down this waterfall now. Take some white, titanium white, and just get some thinner in it. I got some thinner in there, so I thinned it out a little bit. The old Bob Ross technique is basically to take your brush and just kind of go like that. Just kind of pull down. Actually has a pooling going on down here. It's sort of where it splatters in. I got some lighter colors, some darker colors in there. Something like that. Make sure that it's level up there at the top if you can. And it doesn't hurt to just kind of stick in a few little darks. This is not a very wide waterfall, so you can't play around too much in here, but if you can sort of put in some places that look like there might be hitting on some rocks or something like that. Okay, let me see here. Trying to see if I could get a little bit of this texture of these rocks. Okay. Now, that's pretty much the waterfall. I'm going to come back with my script liner now. Keep it full of thinner so that it's very, very thin. We'll come back to these trees over here and see if I can kind of fine tune those a little bit. Darker shadow on the left side. Okay, now clean that out, see if I can pick up some of this lighter orange. It's a combination of orange and yellow, Indian yellow. See if I can pop a few things on the right side over here. Just, it's a little bit too bright right there. Okay, it just sort of gives me a little highlight on that right side. Step back, take a look. See the waterfall, see that. Okay. I want to put in now, go back and pick up some of these darks. I'm going to get in 2 or 3 more trees, like there's some little trees like right in here that just sort of take off and go like that. keep a thin point if you gotta keep it wet, really thin. If you keep it thin enough, it will go on top. If you don't keep it thin enough, it just sort of mushes in with whatever's on the canvas. Like that. I'm going to put another. Because I put that liquid on there, it kept that underpainting a lot wetter than if I dry. So put in a few sprigs, and usually at the bottom of these trees you have some things growing out of there like that. So like that. You might do a better job than I am, but I'm going to see if I can use my big old stipple brush again. It's a landscape brush, and just want to put some, take a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow, and mix them on the brush like that. Cad yellow and white. A little bit of yellow. Mix them on the brush like that. Cad yellow and white. And I'll just see what happens when I pop a few of these in there. So it's sort of double loading the brush, white on the one side and yellow on the other, and you just sort of let it stamp in what will go. Whoops, there's a big blob I didn't intend to get, but see if I can work that out. There's some other ones over here. There's actually some white, more white ones over here. Another tree of some kind sitting back in there. I'm going to make one anyway. Even a few sitting out here. Alright, so I've got to think about an abstract shape again. Okay, stop. Go back and get some more of my trunk color here, my darks, my blacks. And let's put in just a few more. I can get enough paint on this brush. Some more here. I hope you don't hear that noise coming from next door. I have a house under construction next to my studio here, and it's I can hear it, but you may not be able to hear it. Put a few more little flicks of white in here. All right, I'll step back, take a look at this and see if there's something I can do to improve it. Hopefully not to ruin it. Need lighter. Okay, folks, I think it was probably pretty close to being done. I'm going to step back as usual and analyze this for a second or two. Let's take off the palette and just look at it. Center of interest is obviously right in here, so I want to try to make sure your eye goes there. Things that help point to the center of interest are some of these tree branches this way. Probably could have a stronger pointing branch this way, but I think I may leave that a little bit worse if I get in there and do too much. Nice little light touch here, that stippling effect with that big brush. It takes forever to do that with a brush that's not like this. This thing just got bristles on it, and you can just sort of stab it, and every bristle becomes a paintbrush, and you end up with these beautiful little light feathery things that are there. This here, I'd like to try to do something. I don't have anything on my brush. And that was just a little bit too, it was bothering me a little bit. It's probably not much better, but. Okay, don't do too much. There we go. Those are a combination of white and yellow flowers, flowering bushes. Well, they could have, I'm going to get in trouble now. You watch, I'm going to ruin this thing. There are some bushes that sort of hang down here. I'm going to just tap in some things there. I'm going to tap in a few things here to sort of fill in the space a little bit. I haven't quite ruined it yet. Just, I don't want to have big area, nothing going on. Same over here. Okay, I think that's enough. I better stop, think about it, step back, get my, let's see, I'm going to block print my name here somewhere. My technical background keeps coming through. I always have to block print my name. Okay, I think, my friends, that I'm going to stop. Zoom my camera back and say I want to thank you for tuning in today. It's been fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can give this a try. Give me a few days and I'll have this raw video edited, and I'll reload it to YouTube so you don't entire streaming video. And also, if you're into watercolors, next Wednesday, same time, I'm going to be doing my first watercolor work class, I guess. So we'll be doing watercolors next Wednesday at 1 p.m. So if you're interested in that, think about tuning in again, and I'll zoom in on this and move it around a little bit, let you look at it. And until I see you again, this is Larry Hamilton saying so long for now. Goodbye.